In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, one God, Amen. The Gospel today and the readings, they are pointing towards a very good direction, and it helps us to pause for a little and just think about our interactions and our conversations amongst each other. The context here is that there was a great miracle. As you can see here on the screen, a really very complicated problem, human problem, health problem, psychological, whatever you name it. A man that was demon-possessed, blind and mute. Imagine that. So only one problem is big enough. But this was triple the dysfunction, triple the disease. Demon-possessed, or in the Arabic version, he was insane, blind and mute. Jesus healed that person, and that was a great miracle by all measures. But because of the pride of the Pharisees, because of the pride and the self-righteousness of some people, they could not see the healing. They only saw that Jesus did something different, that he was not falling in the same line with everybody. And this is one of our biggest problems, is that when we find someone is doing something different or saying something different from what we are used to, our self-righteousness and pride pushes us to just judge that person. Do not see any of the fruits of that person, of the work of that person, and the goodness that he or she has brought to their family, to their community, to the church, to whatever. And our pride pushes us to divide the house by speaking against that person. Here, it is written, Jesus knew their thoughts and said to them. Here's the bottom line. Jesus was always cutting through the chase and just saying the bottom line. Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. Every city or house divided against itself will not stand. And by this he meant when we as a community, when we as a family, on any kind of level, your small family, your bigger family, your church family, your friends, when your pride prevents you from seeing the goodness and the fruits of a certain person, and just because he or she did something different, you find it as an opportunity to talk about them and speak evil of them or speak lies, now the house will be divided. And this is a very good reminder for us on any level. And as we heard today in the Catholic epistle, and James here, St. James, talked about this whole chapter from a perspective of humility. And we talk a lot about humility, and we praise the humility of the saints, but we do not really live it day to day, or at least try to live this stance of humility. It says that humble yourself in the sight of the Lord, and he will lift you up. And then this, do not speak evil of one another, brethren, or speak lies, or speak deceit, or say things that did not happen just because you want to prove yourself that you are self-righteous, or you know better, or you have authority, or you know all the ins and outs of a certain situation. And we want to be very mindful Because if you observe the kind of conversations we have amongst ourselves on the phone, our little conversations by the side here, we always want to prove ourselves that we know more. I know if this is an Egyptian tendency, if it's culture, if it's human tendency, but I think this is human universal trait that every person would like to show themselves that they know more. They know the ins and outs of the story. Do not speak evil of one another, brethren. He who speaks evil of a brother and judges his brother speaks evil of the law and judges the law. Who are you to judge another? And then he goes on from a spirit of humility. He talks about, come now, you who say today or tomorrow we will go to such and such city, spend the year there, buy and sell and make profit. On the face value, he's talking about people buying and selling, but he's not really. The real message here that if you do not know what will happen tomorrow, for what is your life, it's even a vapor that appears for a little time and then vanishes away. How come you can judge one another? So here is the deeper message. If I can't even predict the next moment of my life, if I can't even control my next breath that's coming out of my nose or mouth, okay, how come I claim and I judge and I speak evil or lies or claim that I know everything and I have the absolute truth? So again, the readings here today all speak about a true spirit of humility, where if I am put in a situation and I hear talk about another person, I can either withdraw or I can either say that nobody knows the whole truth, let God be the judge, or speak good about that person, because our intention, our purpose should be to keep the whole house intact, to keep the whole kingdom intact. As again here, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. Every city or house divided against itself will not stand. Will not stand. It's time for us to be genuine. It is time for us to be real. So many of us hide behind good quotes we put on Facebook and send to each other on text message. Ideal quotes, ideal verses, and we claim that we supporting one another. But when it really comes to the real challenge to not speak lies or evil of one another, we fail. So let's remind ourselves to be humble again, humble before the Lord, humble before one another. Do not let pride steal your humility. Do not let this desire to show that you know and you have the ins and outs of a certain situation steal your humility. Be true to yourself. Be true to the good works of your brothers and sisters, and only speak good of people. Only speak good for people. Prevent yourself from hearing lies, speaking lies, because this can destroy any good work, whether in a small family, in an extended family, amongst a group of friends, in a church community. This is the most lethal way to destroy any person, is to allow lies and evil to be spoken. Always see the good. Always see that there was a person that was demon-possessed blind and mute was healed. If you want to speak, only speak good of a person. If you want to respond, only respond of the good works of that person, and do not engage in such lowly and prideful acts of people who claim self-righteousness or authority based on their own egos. It is time for us to call out the lies, the deceit, because we are brothers and sisters. When we take communion together, we are in one body. We cannot, after receiving the body and blood of Christ and become one with Him, one with one another, go and divide that body again. And divide that union again. If Christ is making us one, despite our differences, despite our backgrounds, despite anything that can divide us in the communion, then we cannot go after communion and make divisions. Let's be authentic and true to ourselves. It is a message to me, to everybody this morning, and I hope we will remind one another to keep the one spirit and the unity in any community. To Him all glory forever. Amen.